What's up, guys? Hobo88 here, and welcome back to the channel for something a little bit different today. We're looking at Tony Stewart's All-American Racing, a new game that has just released. Tony Stewart's been behind, and it's the second game in the series of his that he has been behind. But I never played the first one, which was a sprint car game. I looked at it and could see straight away that it was very arcadey and not something that was probably that suited to me as a sim racer. However, you guys have been all over it. You want to see me have a go at this game, which is a little bit different with some different cars, street stocks, dwarfs, and the big block modifieds as opposed to sprint cars. Again, I fully expect that this will be a arcade game, not a sim game. But with that being said, you guys have spoken out. You want to see me have a go at it. So here we go. I'm going to go through it and give you my quick feedback on what I think of it. Basically, from the menu here, you can see we've got a career mode, quick race. There's online multiplayer. I don't know how active that will be, but that's pretty cool to see. Some latest news. Custom Championship split screen multiplayer, which is cool. You don't see a lot of split screen multiplayer stuff anymore. And then you've got your own custom cars and driver, as well as some medals, and then your options, which you guys can't see down there. I'm just going to quickly point out to start off with, guys, I spent over an hour trying to get this wheel set up to work. I've got a Fanatec CS 2.5 wheelbase and V3 pedals. I've also got a Logitech G27 shifter that I use for my shifter, and the game will not recognize all three inputs. So I'm going to have to use paddles for the gear shifting instead of a H pattern shifter, which is immensely frustrating, but something that I have seen in games before. And I also cannot get the steering to work accurately. I either get like the steering, it just doesn't work properly. It's either I've got it set to 900 degrees of rotation on the wheel, 900 degrees of rotation in the game, and it just ends up being undrivable. So I've had to just mess around and try 100 different combinations until I could get something that's halfway working. But ultimately, huge dramas trying to get this wheel to work accurately in the game. So I just want to point that out straight off the bat because it's caused me quite a lot of heartache already. But anyway, here we go. We're just going to go through. I'll just quickly go in here and show you my driver and my cars. I had a look in here earlier. So you got the option to adjust the preset, which will just change from a bunch of pre-chosen designs, or you've got the ability to go in and change each thing individually. So we've got, say, a helmet. We might go with that style. You can choose your base color. Maybe say black. You can choose a pattern. So you've got hexagons, stars, flames, carbon fiber, camo, broken glass. That's your default patterns, and you can adjust the intensity of them. So a carbon fiber with a low intensity looks pretty good on the black. That same pattern, I guess, runs through everything. So helmets, suit, cars, and everything. So we'll just quickly go through. We'll say leave that at that. You can choose your decals. So you might have a Mobile One logo on the side, something for your back of your Hans device. So here's your sponsors, just real quick. All Pro, a lot of familiar logos in here that you guys will have seen before. Quite a lot actually of different ones as you work your way through, which is cool to see. This stuff is really cool. It's a little disappointing perhaps that it's not a little bit more customizable, but in saying that, it's still pretty cool. Oops, wait on, cancel. I forgot to show you guys as well. So you've got your suit, same deal as before. You can choose a style, and then all your colors. So keep that, looks pretty much in line with what we had. You can adjust your patterns accordingly. Again, same ones as we mentioned before. We'll put some stars on because why not? And then you've got all of your sponsors and all the different positionings on your suit where you can have them. So that's really cool. I like that. That's awesome. I would rather if you could have the ability to earn sponsorship. But that may be something that's in the campaign. I haven't looked at the career mode, so we'll just save that. And if we go into my cars, you can have a look in here as well. So we'll quickly customize maybe, well, here's the big block. So we go the styles. We've got obviously default, a few different styles there. That's pretty cool. Say we like this one. The base color we might make, so black. Again, you can put your patterns on if you want. You can't really see them there yet, but the lighting isn't great for that, but it is changing. We'll just leave them all as flat. So then you might adjust your base color. This you can sort of see the stars and that on there. That's a better color for that. We'll take all the patterns off there. Might leave the white and might make this one. So this is like your accent, little accent color. Let's make that something that stands out. Maybe let's go yellow or something like that. We'll take again the stars off. That looks pretty cool. You can adjust again your sponsor placement on all the panels, and of course your number, which we need to make number 88. You can adjust your fonts as well as the style, so if it's italic or not, and then you can choose your alignment on the doors and the roof, which is pretty cool. We'll say sideways on the doors, square on the roof. You can change the colors, all your fill colors and all that sort of stuff, which is really nice. It looks good. And then you can obviously choose, well, I assume you can choose what car, yeah, so you can choose the different cars and change them. This is probably going to spit me into the dwarf car, we'll just leave it for now. But that shows you how that works, which is kind of neat. It's not very in-depth, but it's cool that you can change it at all, so that's nice. And the options, I'll quickly flick through some of the options for you guys because this might be relevant to some of you guys. So you've got all your difficulties. I've got most of my stuff set as sim, so everything's as manual as it can be, as all the assists are turned off, everything as you'd expect. Difficulty is as hard as it can be, 105%. Your driving presets, so you got all your driving assists, which I've got turned off. The skill range, so this is your AI settings. You can adjust the skill range, their stability, their recovery skills, their starting spread, so at the grids for the races, how compressed the cars are together at the start. Impact forces, and do you want AI cars in practice? I'm just going to say none for practice. Actually, no, we'll leave it at few. We'll leave it at few. The controls, which like I've said, I've already had a nightmare trying to set up. All your inputs, which unfortunately I can't map on G27 shifter, it just isn't recognized. Display settings, I've got this at full screen. We might even make it that, because then we'll get the HUD on screen for you guys. Quality, I've got everything maxed out here. Audio, I've turned a heap of stuff down, obviously, and I've turned off the music for copyright reasons. Explanation of your race formats and the legal documentation, it's all there. We're going to apply that. Hopefully this works. Should hopefully end up with a nice single screen thing here now. So I'm not going to go on the career today, but I'm going to do a quick race. We'll do a quick race in all three of the series. So you can see we've got the legends, the big blocks, and the street stocks. Let's kick it off with the legends. I'm not too familiar with actual drivers from real life, so I don't know if these are actually drivers or not. Oh yeah, there's some Tony Stewart paints down the bottom. Pretty familiar looking designs. Let's go with this one. It looks pretty cool. And then here's your tracks. So they're all obviously not actual tracks, which is really disappointing that they're not licensed official tracks from real life, but there's a fair few in here, so let's have a look through them. Baxterville, Desert Rock, Diamond Grove, Elk Ridge, Elm Creek, I-84, sorry, Long Lake, Madison Lake, Meadow Ridge, Mesa View Raceway, Millstone Park, is it Millstone? Is that a real track? I can't remember. Norris County, Old Mill Raceway, Prairie View Motorsports Park, Ranch Road. There's some interesting looking tracks. Ridge Bluff, Ruby Creek, Sawtooth Mountain, Shady Woods Speedway, Sheep Mountain Raceway, Sierra Sands Motorsport Park. That's a pretty cool looking place. Skull Valley, Slide Rock Ridge, Sterling County, Straight River, Willow Creek. And we're back to the start. So there is some cool tracks in here. Some of them look more accurate to real life or realistic than others. I like this Sheep Mountain. That's a 1/3 mile. We might go to that later. Sawtooth Mountain, that looks pretty cool. Ridge Bluff looks pretty cool. But see, this one looks a lot more fantasy-like, as does anything indoors, basically. So those ones. Old Mill looks pretty cool. There was one that we scrolled past I thought looked good for, perhaps for this one here. Elm Creek looked good for maybe the dwarf cars. Looks like a short track, a 1/5 mile. It is a short track. So let's go here and have a look. We'll see what this car's like around here. I've sort of messed around a little bit just to get things working, but I really haven't driven the cars a lot at this point. Just making sure that the steering works basically, so I don't really know what to expect here. So in car, this is what you can see. Down in the bottom corner, there's a little track map that's behind my head, but other than that, you can see everything there. Got a few different views, so bumper cam, chase, bonnet, and in-car, and that's nice. Depending on how you play, will depend on what you do. Obviously, as a sim racer, I like the in-car shot. as far as I'm aware, there's no option to adjust your field of view. I haven't been able to find one. I think that the Legends are, yeah, three-speed gearbox. It's a pretty cool little track, this one. I can kind of see this being a thing. It looks like it's just sort of almost half set in someone's paddock. It's a very grassy looking surface. I will say that graphics wise it looks really good. I like it. Let's check out, whoa! Check out the chase camera. I find it so awkward to race in chase view with a wheel. With a gamepad maybe, but with a wheel it's very awkward. So many laps done in Sims in the cockpit view. Make it a little bit hard to adjust for me on this. We're getting absolutely destroyed by the competition, by the way, which is set to the highest difficulty. Our goal time is a 10.3 apparently, and my best is an 11.2, so we're 9/10 off the best. 9/10 off what we should be able to do. There's a 10.9. That's as good as we're going to get. Alright, so let's just back out real quick. Yeah, if I can find the right buttons. Another frustration I've got, guys, is that it doesn't have a PC button map by the look of it. So you've got your A button down the bottom there as continue. I don't know what buttons are what on my wheel, so anyway. We missed the goal by 6/10 there, which is a bit of a shame. So if we go, if I can figure out how the car, where's the car set up? No, that's not it. See, this is where it's a bit frustrating. I don't know what I just changed. No. That wasn't right. What about... Here we go, there's the button. Alright, so tuning. So, right, so the tuning is only... The garage is literally this. Loose or tight. That's all you can change. That's a bit of a shame. You can set a setup for each session, but not anything different as far as like there's no in-depth car setup, which is a bit of a shame because I know a lot of people are right into that. Not something that I get into that much, but a lot of people are. So anyway, we'll leave the track. That's a look at the dwarf cars. We're not going to do races or anything in this video. We'll keep it short and sweet. A quick look at each car on a different track, basically. Next, we'll have a look at the street stocks. Here's one that I prepared earlier. I was messing around with the paint a little bit earlier. And this is the street stock paint that I came up with. But again, you've got a whole heap to pick from. There's your Tony Stewart cars. That one's pretty cool. I like that. And back to the start. So we'll just go and pick this one. Let's have a look at what track we should race at here. Probably a bit longer one. So that was a 1/5 mile that we went to there. 1 mile. Whoa, what a track. That would be fast. I'm not really that interested. Like inside a grandstand, it looks a little bit like Gateway, but I mean, that's not something I'm all that interested in. Millstone looks pretty cool. Norris County. Old Mill, that one looks alright. But yeah, I just the tracks that are kind of fantasy looking just don't do much for me. I'd rather it be more realistic. So this one's almost a full circle, so I don't think we'll go there. A square, look at the shape of that track, that's weird. This one's got it, they're all weird shape. That's where we just were, I think. Oh, no, it's not, Sterling. Straight River, 1/3 mile. This looks perfect. Let's do it. Let's have a look at this track. One thing I will say is that the cars look awesome. Like, they look really cool. The graphics wise, I think it looks really nice. Even like the car sitting here in the garage, like it looks really good. I love this sort of stuff. So again, here's your cameras. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, we've crashed. So what do we got? 3-speed again. I'm going to reserve my judgments on the handling until we've tried all the cars, so I'll talk to you guys about the physics and the gameplay of it at the end. It looks like the track's really one lane. It doesn't seem like there's any advantage here to running right up the top or anything. Maybe it's the cars. Maybe it would be different in the big blocks. But I mean, some of these tracks would be massive in a legend car or a dwarf. What's our target time? A 14.3. Our best is a 14.6, so we're actually not that far off the pace in these. That was a 15.5. And you're working the wheel. Alright, let's have a look at the chase cam. I like that the car gets a dirt build up on it. That's cool. I also like the way that the panels move around with the wind and the bumps and stuff like that. That's really nice. I can tell just by the few laps I've done that dynamic tracks are not a thing. And this is practice and there's already a slick groove in the middle of the track, so I would be pretty confident in suggesting that there's not even a different track state across the night, if that makes sense. So like a feature would be slicker. If that was the case in the warm-up session like this, in the practice, you would expect it to be a full heavy tacky track, but it doesn't look like it is. It's very dusty even. So I'd be skeptical of even seeing a different racing surface in the feature race. God, the chase cam is so difficult. Alright, let's get on the infield here. So that's your street stock. Wrong button. Alright. Yes, we suck, we know. We missed our goal. We were meant to do a 14.3, we did a 14.6, so we weren't as far off in the street stock, but we certainly weren't quite up to pace. Alright, now let's have a look at the big blocks. That's what everyone's here to see, let's admit it. Everyone loves a good big block modified, so let's check it out. There's our paint that we did just before. Oh, there's a name I recognise. For these guys, this doesn't look like real life drivers, the other ones. You guys might know who these people are. The only name I've recognised so far, apart from Tony Stewart's, is Jeff. The Hunt Brothers Pizza, number 66. What does the Tony Stewart paints look like in this car? That's pretty cool. As is that. Tony Stewart Racing one. Alright. You guys know what we're going to run in ours. Alright, let's go back. There was one that we saw before that I thought looked like it could be good in the big blocks maybe, if I can find it. Sawtooth Mountain might be cool. Old Mill. Let's have a go at this one. Oh, it's a quarter mile. It's a bit short. We might go bigger. Let's go half mile maybe. Millstone Park might be good. Let's go there. Might be good for the big blocks, a bit bigger track, half mile. Low banking, I like that. This is the sort of track I'd expect, maybe not a half mile, but what I'd expect to see a big block run on. Fairly flat tracks. Alright, so let's just do it. Let's go straight out there and have a go. Here's our cameras again. So this is pretty cool. This is the hood cam. There's your onboard. Can't quite see the wheels, which kind of feels like you should be able to, but maybe when we get going. My steering wheel's in the way, so I can't really tell. Alright, so how many gears have we got in this? Two-speed manual. Alright, a 15.7 is the goal time. My goodness. Oh! God, the force feedback is so strong when you get sideways. It's got that beautiful arcadey hit the wall and it takes all your speed away thing, which we see in most arcade dirt games. There we go, that was a bit better in 1 and 2. Oi, there's a person. Okay, so don't use the brakes, because the brakes just make the thing understeer horribly. No tear-offs. It's a bit of a shame. So 16.2 on that lap, we're half a second off our goal. Used a little bit of the opponent there to get through the corner. Robbins Racing. It's a dirt track after all. We're only a couple tenths away from the goal time there. So it seems like the dwarf car's much harder to get up to speed. Maybe I just sucked in those. We're not far away from the goal times in the other two cars. Alright, let's get onto that chase cam. Here's the understeer. Crunch. The way my wheel's set up, I can't even see the car. It's so hard. I've got no visual guide of how sideways the thing is. The nose to tail bump there felt pretty good, like the collision physics are not stupid where the cars bounce off real funny. Oh, we're off. Alright, this actually brings up a good point, because something I wanted to check as well. Is there damage? There's only one way to find out. Okay, I would have expected it to not react quite like that when it hit a wall. Doesn't really look like, if there is, there isn't much. Okay, so a little bit of visual damage. But obviously that's damaged the car because we've now got some icons on screen saying that there's damage. I have to say, the mud build-up is very cool. I like that. that looks nice. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's go back to the menu, and I will go ahead and wrap this one up, guys. Escape, that button, I think. Yep.
Let's take a look at the speed charts from practice.
Continue. Back to the menu. So, guys, I mean, ultimately, what is this game? Who is it marketed towards? It's not marketed towards me. I'm a sim racer, a hardcore sim racer. So for me, it's all about immersion and realism. That's what makes a good sim, in my opinion. So I'm all about the immersive realism, especially when it comes to physics and handling. That's where it's most important. You can live without the fancy graphics, like R Factor is a testament to that. I enjoy racing on R Factor because the physics and the handling are good, but the graphics are awful. They're terrible, but it's still good fun. This is not a sim. This is an arcade game. It's a different type of thing altogether. So we have to look at it in its own merit. If you are coming to my channel to get an idea on what I think of this, I have to compare it to sims because that's what I drive all the time. This is not a sim. This doesn't compete with iRacing. This doesn't compete with R Factor or any of that sort of stuff. This is an arcade game, essentially. It's a console game. It's on Steam. It is available on PC, which is how I'm playing it. But this is a console game at the end of the day. Handling and controls and physics and all that sort of stuff, the cars feel like an arcade game. So they feel like they're driving around on the right front wheel. The car's sort of pivoting off the right front wheel, and it sort of feels like they're kind of got like a slide aid about them. They don't feel like you're driving them with the throttle at all. You're sort of wheeling around a little bit left and right, but you're not using the throttle to drive them at all. The cars aren't connected to the ground in that way. They feel like they pivot off the right front corner, and the cars are always sort of aided by the computer for their control. And that's just an arcadey type of feel, which, I mean, it's an arcadey type of game. It's probably designed to not be that difficult to drive, so people that just pick it up and play it on a console aren't instantly frustrated by how difficult it is to play. As a sim racer looking at it, I find it infuriating that it doesn't handle like a real car. So it's kind of, I'm in the niche market. So let's look at it that way. What is my thoughts about the game as a whole? If I was to play it again, I would probably play it on a gamepad because to me it just doesn't really suit a wheel. I don't think it's enough of a sim to warrant needing a wheel for it. I think it's probably an excellent PlayStation game or Xbox game. It looks really good. There's a heap of different tracks to choose from, albeit that they're not officially licensed, which is obviously disappointing, but there's heaps of content there to play with, heaps of things to mess around with. We haven't looked at the career mode at all yet in this video. And on that note, guys, if you would like to see more of this on the channel and you'd like to see me play through a career mode, let me know in the comments below because that's something that I could potentially do. However, I would consider this to be an arcade game. You need to approach it that way. You're not picking this up and having the next best thing since iRacing. It's not going to be that. It doesn't compete with iRacing because it's a different market. So if you're watching this video back and wanting to get an idea of my thoughts on it in preparation for perhaps buying it, make sure you just keep that in mind. You're buying a console game, essentially an arcade game. But with that being said, there's not many dirt games out there, and I mean, it's cool just to see some kind of new dirt game being released at all. To be honest, it's exposure for the sport that we love, and I mean, graphics-wise, it looks really nice. It's got a bit of customization with the cars and the driver and stuff like that too, which is cool. But we haven't looked at all at the career mode to see how deep that goes. It's disappointing it doesn't have official tracks. It's disappointing for me that it doesn't have realistic handling physics. And it's disappointing for me that the garage is so basic and primitive in the quick race section anyway. But, I mean, you get what you pay for with this sort of game. It's cheap, it's accessible, and it's pretty good in that sense. Guys, I'd love to get your feedback in the comments below. Let me know what you all think. I look forward to seeing what your impressions are of the game. I've had a lot of people say that they want me to check it out, and I came in knowing what to expect, and it's exactly what I expected it to be. So, I hope that this is insightful to some of you. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching it, and obviously let me know what you thought of the video in the comments below. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Let me know if you didn't. But otherwise, that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Hobbo88, twitch.tv/Hobbo88 to tune into the live streams. Check out The Discord channel, link is in the description below. Best place to be part of the Hobbo 88 community and come and join in the discussion over there. But that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.